Hi everyone, today I'm gonna show you how I implemented Appwrite Authentication in my SvelteKit app. So let's don't waste time and jump right in. First I'm gonna show you how does it work right now. If we go directly to the dashboard, it redirects us to our out page. So let's try login. I haven't made an account yet. It throws some nice toast error, and let's try to create an account. We create and it automatically logs us in. Let's try log out. If we log out, it automatically redirects again to out page. If we try to access it directly, it throws us out back to our out page. Let's try to log in. And this is our available data for our user profile directly from Appwrite's dashboard. If we go here, let's refresh. We can see that we have a user here. Let's click on it, and if we add a phone number, for example, let's update. Let's refresh, and we have a phone here too. These ones are ways to contact our user. I think that is meant for this messaging feature. That way we can message. I think we can also, if you have some kind of application, we can also push notifications, and that will show up here. I'm not very certain if that's the case, but that's what I figured out. Okay, so now let's dive in a little bit deeper with technical things, and let's see how I implemented this in the code base. So the code we have is very simple. So the main thing happens here. I created a file named user.svelte.ts, and it's pretty lengthy. If we check, it's currently about 152 lines, but it does the job. So what I did here is created a new function and wrote everything in state to get this all information reactive, and added some methods for refetching the data, to create an account, to log in, and to log out. Everything works just fine. And here is the most important part, and this is our user object. So currently in this file we only export this user object, and user object has this use session method. If we don't have a browser, we return a new user session. And this is very important because in that way we avoid shared user info between requests. We only initiate a singleton instance only on the client side for the user. So currently this file and this user session management function is useful only on client side, but I have played around a little bit and tested the limits of how it would interact with server side. So currently I have a lot of checks if this is a browser. For everyone that tries to make or call any of these methods on server side, it will not work. It will throw a warning to not use this. But this file has potential to be used on the server side too. Okay, so my conclusion why we can't use this on the server side, because Appwrite's SDK currently doesn't allow us set an API key, because we wouldn't expose our API key on the front end. But the web SDK from Appwrite works just fine on the server side too. So basically for the Appwrite client, we have this method setSession, which works. If we set manually this session ID from the cookies, it does set the session and get us our correct user. But the issue is here, this is a test route. So the issue here is that we can't access cookie since this is HTTP only cookie and it's set from Appwrite's domain, so we can't access it. But if we could get this cookie, we could set the cookie here as the user session, and we could set the session ID here from that cookie. That way we could get a user information on our server side. But here is another issue. if we request this account or we try to create a new email password session, this function does return data. For example, let's call it a session for now, and if we log, the issue is here that it doesn't return a secret. It does return empty string because this request was made without an API key. So if the Appwrite's client will have a method to set key, currently this method doesn't exist, but if we had this method, we could set key and return secret key in response. And in this way, we could fetch the data from the server side, return it, and we could here manipulate any data we need according to this user. So I will read this, what I wrote here. Here we would allow validated user to access custom features. For example, we could make an OpenAI API call via server. Alternative would be to create a separate function like a server session using Node SDK model, but that would lose the benefit of keeping everything in sync with client-side session, because then we would have two separate sessions since we can't access cookies from Appwrite Web SDK another way around, from Node SDK to client SDK. So what Appwrite could do is basically allow us to set on the client-side's SDK to allow set a API key. So one thing I want to show you is that if we go to our DevTools and we check our cookies, we currently have a few sessions, and this one is exactly what we need, but the issue here is that it is HTTP only cookie. That's a good thing because it's more secure, but the domain is set from Appwrite's domain. So another cool thing would be if Appwrite allows us to set some kind of setting that this project currently is not in production, and would always return a non-secure cookie. So that way we could have an access in our server code right here. So currently this issue is only in dev mode, because what Appwrite allows us to do is to add custom domain. But currently, when we are working in our dev mode, we can't add our API address here. So what I hope is someone from Appwrite's team will check this out and maybe implement these things, because currently it's a really simple way to solve this issue is to allow us to set an API key. That's most likely will be via headers, and we could also set session. Currently this method exists, we can set the session, but the issue is we can't get the cookie since it's secure cookie, and we can get it from a local host. This most likely would work, and we could get a cookie from a production app if we set a custom domain here. And if you like this video and would like to support me on creating more videos like this, you can get this project. The link will be in this video description. The project will be for a small fee, but that will be a way to show a support for me. Any support is always appreciated, but if you can't do that, you can always pause the video and write the code down, and you will get exact same thing what you saw in this video. And that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe, press like, and see you in the next one.